Hi everybody, thank you for joining me. This video is on the full moon in Cancer, which happens on the 2nd of January 2018. It happens on the 2nd of January UK time, so that's Greenwich Mean Time. If you're in the States and you're behind in terms of timing, so if you're on the East Coast, you're 5 hours behind the UK. If you're on the West Coast, then it's 8 hours. The full moon will happen on the 1st of January. If you're further east, like Australia or New Zealand or Japan or India, somewhere like that, it will happen on the 2nd of January 2018. So UK time, it happens at 2:23 in the morning. And that's based on Greenwich Mean Time on the 2nd of January. And it's a full moon in Cancer that's a supermoon as well. So a supermoon is a full moon that isn't just like a regular full moon. It's nearer to the Earth, so it appears about 7 to 16% larger, and because it's nearer to the Earth, it has a much bigger effect on us. The moon rules the tides, so with the moon being much bigger, the tides are going to be much higher, and us being made of water, we're going to be affected by this much more as well. So the basics, first of all, a full moon is when the sun and the moon oppose each other, the sun being the luminary, the light giver, and it sheds its light onto the moon. It's full, it's totally reflective because it's 180 degrees right opposite the sun, and it's lit up and the moon reaches its completion point. Everything it's been working towards, and it just goes and it lets go of its energy, and it showers us with its energy. And if you look at the chart that I've put up here, the poor little moon is all by itself here. Nothing is around it, it's all alone, and it's being opposed by all of these other planets in Capricorn on the other side of the chart. And it's not a poor little moon because it's a supermoon, it's really, really big. And it's really interesting that all these other energies in Capricorn, those energies being about the real world, being practical, creating stable, secure things in the here and now, are opposed to the moon. So those things aren't of interest to you. What's of interest to you is everything to do with Cancer. Cancer is a water sign. It concerns itself with home, and not just home in a physical way, like where you live, your house, where you feel safe and secure, where you've built your little nest. It's also how you feel internally, and it's people who have felt lost and disconnected from themselves will be able to reconnect with who they really are, and they'll feel like it's a homecoming. Cancer is about that inner place of intuition, imagination, the prodigal son coming home from his journey and returning to this safe space inside, being able to connect with the self, being nurturing of the self and of other people. It's intuitive, it's spiritual, it's creative. There's a really fine line between the intuition and the imagination, and Cancer really embodies all of that. So if you're an intuitive, if you're a clairvoyant or a psychic or a channeler, you need to have an imagination to receive these messages. So if you're a clairvoyant, you need to have some imagination to see the images, right? And if you're an artist or a writer, then you need to have some sort of spiritual connection, some intuition, so that the muses can whisper in your ear and inspire you to create these beautiful words or these wonderful paintings and to put them down in some tangible way. And that's what Cancer is all about. The moon rules Cancer. The moon is really our most inner, sensitive self. It's often associated with the mother, it's often associated with a sense of nurture, but it can also be associated with our soul and how we feel about ourselves, how we feel about our lives. Cancer is also that sign because it rules, in the traditional chart, it rules the 4th house of the home. And in terms of the archetypes, the mother rules the home. So the moon and Cancer coming together is a really wonderful kind of connection of this is who I am, this is how I feel, this is how I really am, I've come home to myself in a sense. I'm not under any illusions that, you know, I'm this big shot because I've made $1 million and I have a great car. Those illusions and that kind of sense of denial falls away. So if you're someone who's totally off track, this may feel somewhat uncomfortable because you're really going to feel your feelings and you're really going to get in touch with your real self. If you're someone who does try and get in touch with the self, if you're someone who's spiritually inclined, or you're creative, or you're an intuitive or an imaginative person, this sense will really, really be heightened, and you'll have an even greater and deeper understanding of yourself. So if you're someone, you know, who's trying to work on themselves, someone who's read the self-help books and who meditates and who tries to understand, why am I here? What's the meaning of my life? Why have I come back this time around? What am I good at work-wise? What's this all about? Then people who ask these questions, who are interested in these kind of ethereal, abstract concepts and words, you're going to get great insights, because the moon is in Cancer. It is a full moon. So we're being showered with this Cancer energy that allows that kind of thinking and that kind of questioning to be supported, allowing you to get real answers. And because it's a supermoon, you're not just being showered with Cancer energy, you're being showered with a lot of Cancer energy. And also there's no conflict between the moon and Cancer because it rules it. So this is the perfect energy that it wants to give you, and it's going to be really, really nice that this happens here at the beginning of the year, because you're starting 2018 understanding who you are and letting the illusions drop away. And it's almost like, I can grow up now. I don't have to pretend to be something I'm not, because my feelings are really showing me who I am, what I value, what I don't value, and what I want to do with my life. So if you're suffering with addictions, if you've been trying to give up smoking, if you do have an addiction that you've been in denial about, addiction being the one illness that does tell you that you haven't got it, this is really going to be an eye-opener in the sense of, I see what I'm doing for what it is. So, you know, if you're a smoker, I smoke 20 cigarettes a day. Am I happy with that? Yes or no? Probably no. Anyone who's been a smoker knows that it's not the best thing. So you'll understand that and you'll be able to do something about it. The full moon also is at 11 degrees. 11 is the master number of service in numerology. And these insights that you get, you know, the thing about the astrology is it always works hand in hand with other people, with all of us as a whole, because we are all connected, and what happens to you or what happens to me has a knock-on effect to other people, because we are all one. We all have access to this collective unconscious, and when something shifts in the astrology, then we all shift together. So these insights and this understanding that you get about yourself, 11 degrees then translates into you being able to support and help other people more, because you get yourself more. So for example, you've been working as an insurance salesman, but today you really realize that you are highly intuitive and that you're going to work as a communicative healer. Then you're going to be of service to other people in a much more positive and direct way, because you're using your actual talents to be a communicative healer. And you weren't that good at being an insurance salesman, for instance. So it could also work the other way around. You know, if your real talents are to sell insurance, and you realize this on this day, then you're going to be of much greater service to people doing that, because you're using your actual talents. I mean, this is an old example, I always use this, but Einstein worked as an insurance salesman until he was 30, and then he had this miraculous this year where he was given all these insights, and he became the physicist that we all remember, and that's why he's so famous, because of the amazing contribution that he made to planet Earth. So by him using his real gifts and talents, he was able to add something If he kept selling insurance, then he wouldn't have supported the world in the way he did. And you have an opportunity to really connect with your real gifts and talents here on this day, which then will serve humanity and which will serve the planet. So the moon then opposes Black Moon Lilith at 6 degrees in Capricorn, Venus in Capricorn at 9 degrees, the Sun in Capricorn at 11 degrees, and Pluto in Capricorn at 18 degrees. So, on the one hand, Black Moon Lilith is going to say, the ideas that I'm getting aren't practical. It's all very well to understand what I'm doing. This is where the ego steps in. Black Moon Lilith being the part of the chart that always says, you can't do this because it doesn't want you to achieve your purpose, so it tries to sabotage you. So the message will be, oh, it's all very well that you think you're talented and gifted, but it'll never happen. So be aware of that voice, because that's where the ego is going to try and block you. Venus in Capricorn will be super supportive and will say, if you can dream it, then you can do it. You can make it a reality. Spirit is guiding you. Listen to what it is you love and you'll be fine. The Sun as well, 11 degrees in Capricorn. It says, if you feel it, if it feels loving and positive, then I will support you. As my identity is strong enough to enable you to work at this and to make it happen. And Pluto being at 18 degrees, which again is a 9, spirituality and completion, Pluto being the planet of transformation, says, if you feel it, if you dream it, and you take the action, you'll transform your life. And that's what this is about. This information that you get here at the beginning of 2018 can be life-changing, because if you don't listen to that voice of the ego, the voice of Black Moon Lilith, which says, just dismiss it because it's not practical. Ignore all of these great insights, because the ego wants you to be mildly miserable for your whole life, and it doesn't want you to achieve your life purpose, so you keep coming back here and you add to the chaos. So it sends you all of these negative messages, and that's why it's important to meditate and not to believe everything that you think, because the ego sits up here. You know, people talk about the devil. The devil isn't sitting in hell somewhere roasting marshmallows. The devil is sitting right here telling you not to pursue your gifts and talents because he wants to keep you stuck. So rather than listening to the negative voice of the ego, listen to the voice of Venus and the Sun and Pluto, which all say, if you love it, if you feel like you can, if there is some practical outlet to do it, believe in yourself, do it, and your life will be transformed as a result. It's really great. Okay, we also have Saturn in Capricorn sitting next to that Black Moon Lilith. So that will add an element of I have to change everything around myself. You don't have to change everything around yourself. The information is being given to you, or it's coming out of you organically, and that will make changes happen. So don't feel like you have to reinvent the wheel, or it's a David and Goliath situation where you have to take on this huge thing which is impossible. That again strengthens the voice of the ego. Just allow yourself to feel what comes up, and don't think 5 steps ahead of how am I going to do this. Just do the next right thing. Just listen to your guidance that says, this is how I feel. Okay, how do I start? Start here. Don't look at the end result. Just take the next right step and trust that things are going to work out. The Sun squares let's see, the Sun is conjunct to Pluto. Yep, okay. South node opposes the North node in Leo. South node is in Aquarius. So it's really about having confidence in yourself. The midheaven is also in Leo. The North node is basically what you're trying to achieve on a soul level. And that is in Leo, which is public, which is in the spotlight. 16 degrees is about mind and creativity. So if you allow your feelings to come up, you'll start to get ideas and guidance about how to implement this. You'll feel confident and fired up about it, which will then give you the motivation to actually go for it. Saturn and Black Moon Lilith are sitting next to Mercury in Sagittarius. Mercury will try and get you to gallop ahead and will try and get you to look at the end result. Again, try not to do that and just take it one step at a time. Let your guidance and your feelings just give you the next right action, and don't let your thoughts gallop away with you, because that will make you feel insecure and that'll make you feel like I'm not going to be able to achieve this. Jupiter and Mars are sitting in Scorpio. Jupiter is the good luck planet and Mars is the male principle of drive and ambition and power. And both of those sitting in Scorpio again mean that you activate the good luck of Jupiter and you get that fire and that drive. When you listen to your feelings, that translates then into the midheaven and the north node in Leo and the south node in Aquarius, meaning that you are motivated and fired up to do these things because they're ultimately going to be of service to humanity. So this full moon is a gift to you in a sense of really understanding yourself and realizing what it is you can potentially achieve. But it's not just about you, because the universe wants you to realize and actualize yourself so that you can serve humanity on a larger scale. That's what self-help and your guidance is always about. You becoming the best you that you can be, not because you deserve to be, you know, adored and you deserve to make 10 million, which you can, but your higher self isn't so interested in rewarding you. It's more interested in humanity as a whole and how we can all help each other. And the guidance is usually connected in some way with being of service to other people. Chiron is in Pisces. That connects with Mercury in Sagittarius. Yeah, the only thing to watch out for, the thing that can really wound you in a sense and really sabotage you, is if you let your thoughts gallop away with you. And that's the same thing with Uranus and Aries squaring the Sun. That's going to give you this sense of it has to happen now, and I'm impatient and I need to get this done yesterday. That's all very well, but if you get overly into that energy of, you know, this should have happened yesterday, then immediately you're blaming yourself and it's guilt, and then the ego gets involved and says it's never going to work anyway because you're behind schedule and da-da-da. So it's very important to keep things simple, to really just listen to what your feelings say is right, how you can do this, to not expect to have all the answers and all the solutions to making this a reality straight away, but to be content with getting the information that says this is the next right step on your journey to success. And if you're content with that, and if you have the patience to work on that level, then you'll really be given something practical to do that will then lead you to the next step and the next step, and you'll see things transform. So 1st and 2nd of January 2018, you're already being gifted with something absolutely amazing in terms of you, your personal development, your personal life, who you are, what contribution and difference you make here on planet Earth. So as far as the new year is concerned, it couldn't start much better than this, because you're in this wonderful little introspective space here starting, which puts you in the right state of mind to then take action going into 2018. And I'm a big believer in, you know, the way something starts is the way it finishes. And for the year to start on such a genuine, authentic and humanitarian level means that you can continue in that fashion, and that you can really achieve things which allow you to actualize yourself, which then in turn makes it easier for other people to become enlightened and to actualize themselves. Because if you look around, there's a lot of division and there's a lot of terrible things happening, and each one of us who works on ourselves and who tries to do the right thing in the sense of this is what my higher self wants me to do, the more of us wake up to that and the more of us who try and do that, the more of a positive effect we have on other people. We don't fight for peace. We create peace within ourselves and let it spread like wildfire. You can't fight for peace. It's a contradiction in terms. You have to lead by example and let other people latch on to the peace that you're giving. So it's almost like I have done something for myself that will then let other people look at you and say, I want what she's got, or I want what he's got. So I'm going to stop being jealous of my girlfriend, and I'm going to stop sabotaging my boss, and I'm going to do the thing that's right for me. And with each person who does that, the more, and you may think I'm naive here, but the more we will come together as humanity, because that's essential. If we keep on the track that we're going now, I mean, it doesn't look great. So we do each have personal power to affect change and to make a positive contribution to planet Earth. So you may think that's really insignificant, you know, me meditating, what's that going to achieve? It's going to achieve a lot, because it's going to make it easier for someone on the other side of the planet to meditate and to stop being nasty and to start looking at the light side of things. So remember that, realize that, and don't think you're navel-gazing or being self-indulgent. This is really important, and it will allow you to serve others. So that's what I get for you for this full moon. It's really a magical one. It's also going to look magical and gorgeous. So if you're able to see it, send me some pictures. I'll put a link to this video on the Facebook page, and then if you can put some pictures of the full moon when it actually happens, that would be awesome. So that's what I get. I hope it gives you an idea of what you'll be working with. If you'd like a private reading with me, then please get in touch via my website. It's gregoryscott.com. And in my private readings, I use astrology and tarot and numerology. And like the chart that you're seeing here, I can draw up your birth chart by looking at your place of birth, date of birth, and time of birth. And that gives me a blueprint of your soul. It shows me why you've come into this lifetime, what your life purpose is, what you're going to be good at work-wise, what's coming up for you in terms of your career, your love life, your relationships, your health. I can answer any questions you may have. So if you're interested in that, please get in touch via the website. Remember to subscribe to this YouTube channel, and I'll speak to you soon.